SBDC helps businesses start and grow. We do this through our no-cost consulting, webinars such as this, and other training programs. We are proud to be part of the nationally accredited network of SBDCs with over 1,000 centers across the United States of America. You have joined us today on this webinar on the topic, 7 steps to getting your business noticed by media. After this webinar, a follow-up email will be automatically sent to all attendees within the next 2 business days with today's materials. All attendees are muted currently. However, we encourage you to post your questions in the Q&A and also in the chats, which will be answered probably after the presentation. Now, I'll turn over the floor to Jennifer, who will be our presenter for today. So Jennifer, you have the floor now.
Thank you. There was some echoing. Is that on my side or your side? Do I sound okay?
I think it's on my side, so I'll mute while
Okay,
she's
no, it's
talking.
okay. I just wanted to make sure so people could hear me. But yes, and then the Q&A I should be able to get afterwards in the chat. So hopefully I'll just get out of sharing as soon as I'm done the presentation so I can answer all of your questions. Hi, I'm Jen Sherlock. I own a company called Jenna Communications. I can't wait to answer all of your questions. I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible so we can leave time so I can help you build your business and get the word out and all the fun buzz that helps get your brand known. Okay, so this is me. I started my career in TV out of college. I went to Villanova and I had a couple internships at Channel 6 and Channel 17. And that's where my love for TV and telling stories started. And then I transitioned like a decade later into public relations. I had one corporate job, and that really got me excited for what I'm doing, what I've been doing, and what I'm doing now. And it was kind of like the reverse of being on TV. I was still sharing great messages, meeting wonderful people. And then I got a high just from, getting placements from my old boss on national TV. We were always going to New York or various cities that we put events on because events are a great way to get PR and build buzz. So that's really where I knew it was my calling. And then we were laid off in that recession in 2009. And I had already a few clients by then for Jenna Communications. So that gave me the confidence to keep going. So hopefully my slides help you think big. So Jenna Communications, when people think of us, they mostly think of publicity, getting your brand known, getting TV segments. I just had one of my clients, spokespeople, Ron Jaworski on Fox last week. And, we go to Good Day set and, we just have a blast and it's fun. And clients really get a lot out of that because they can get anywhere from like a 5 to 7 minute TV segment. And then nowadays you can share it on social media. Way back when I started, social media wasn't as big, but now it's great because you can get the eyes on TV, then you can get the eyes digitally as well. People also hire us for events, restaurant openings. I did the Philadelphia Marathon PR for years, so 5Ks. I've done a lot of franchise openings like Dry Bar, Prime IV, which is an IV hydration place, urgent care centers. Basically, we've done everything under the sun by now. Health, retail, sports, entertainment, nonprofits, manufacturing, crypto, finance. I could go literally on and on. So it's all the same game, just different lists and different people you target to get press, buzz, and the credibility that you need. We also do social media consulting where we're building calendars for clients and posting and helping with their ROI that way, media training, crisis management, etc. So I know the presentation said 7 solid ways to generate free publicity. This is 8. It's a little bit of an older presentation, but it's the same tips that anyone can do from home. So getting publicity is like sales. Not everyone's comfortable with it, but the more you push outside your comfort zone, the more results you'll have. So you can't just blast a press release and expect a response. You need to make sure it's written well. And I know how to write. Now there's ChatGPT and all these AI services that can help you, and it does help. But for years, it was all about what you would learn in school with the inverted pyramid and the most important information on top, the less important on the bottom. I also used to be in TV news, so I know what is hard hitting for what news like to hear, whether it's TV, radio, blogs, magazines, newspapers, podcasts, etc. So if you're doing it yourself, you want to think of like the who, what, when, where, why with the call to action, what you want them to do, what you want them to see. Um, Events help, having a charity component helps because some clients I've had aren't that sexy, like it's like I know inside because I know it's a story, like, oh, that's really not going to work. But then if you add on a charity component or an event, that is what can hook news. Or even there's an event next month for I think it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I said to the client yesterday, that's a perfect fit because it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So like knowing those things help keep you in the news now. Everything's important about today. You don't want to share a story that happens 2 to 3 days later. You want to get it out there as soon as you can. So use existing relationships or garner new ones by making calls, email introductions to reporters so they know who you are. Make sure you know what they write about because since I've had my business so long, I've had interns write reporters say in the health field for tech, and then reporters get really upset and they'll block you. So you really have to know who you're writing, make sure you research them, try and get a relationship with them, try to go to different media events, different conferences, anywhere just to kind of be outside the box, maybe follow their tweets or on X and show up where they are if they're sharing where they'll be. I mean, that's how I built my business, always trying to meet them. And then at the time when I was building my business, I also held my own media events where I would get a bar to give free drinks to them and invite them to come out and blow off some steam. It was my way to give back. So you kind of have to think of all approaches, but I know you're all busy building your business. So if you just have to do it from your computer, you can. And I don't talk too much AI on here, but you definitely can to use it to help your message. It's not going to help you get the press that you need, but it can help you with your messaging if some of you aren't strong writers. It can also give you ideas on how to tell a story with a news hook because I naturally have that just from college on learning what works in news. And they used to say if it bleeds, it leads. So unfortunately, that's why you'll see a lot of murders and things topping the news. But it's also, they like that controversial, sometimes negative hook to draw you in. Um, and then making calls. I mean, I went through this for years. Nowadays, it's even harder than ever. Um, so, building my business, I would tell my workers and interns, you have to make calls. You can't just email. You can, because most of them would want to hide behind email. That's gotten more challenging these days because more and more people are hiding from their phones. And then I sometimes would reach out to people on Twitter, you know, years ago, even before COVID, to book segments because I was like, at least I know this is going to their phone. So I was like, if they're not going to answer, my emails, and sometimes if I had their cell phones, I would go to their Twitter. There's a professional but classy way to be persistent. So you don't want to be over the top. You will get banned. They won't listen to you. They'll ignore you. But if you do it in kind of a classy, professional way, it can work as long as the messaging is there. It's best to, like I said before, be personable and know the reporter's beat. But yeah, still call too. It doesn't hurt. Every now and then they'll pick up. But I thought it was challenging even before COVID. It's definitely more challenging now. Um, so the news desks, no one really knows about the news desks. They will pick up the phone though, so that's the good thing. But they're like every TV station and actually newspapers too have a hub. If you think of it like a logistics center, like say it's a dispatch center, think of it like that. It's in the center of every newsroom and they do pick up the phone and they are 24/7. So if you don't have specific reporters beats or producers, editors, call the news desk. Usually you can find it on Google. I have different systems that help me called Meltwater, that I could build specific lists and find out all of their social media and their phone numbers and their emails, but you don't need that. You can do it from Google. So you can call them and let them know if you're having a local benefit at the FOP, VFW, whatever it may be, and trust me, if it's newsworthy, they will cover it. Call ahead of time. Don't just call the day of. You don't need a ton of time. You can start with a week, 3 days, 2 days, definitely the morning of, because usually if they're interested, everything will be covered barring breaking news. So in case there's a fire, for example, it may not be covered, but as long as no breaking news happens and they like your story, they will cover it. And sometimes if they can't and they really want to cover it, they'll ask you to send in videos from your phone. So I've done that a lot. You just have to hold your phone horizontally, um, and that helps with HD and the format, and take videos at least 15 to 30 seconds long, and again send it to the news desk. And I've seen a lot of my footage on that way too if they can't make the story. So news has changed over time. They never used to do that. They used to say it had to be from their cameras, and then over time that changed. Um, so it is normal. They don't decide to the day of. I tell my clients that a lot. Like they decide closer. Like I have an event next week at Parks Casino, but none of the press have really covered it yet. But I know that's going to change very quickly. And then they'll get segments on Fox 29 and Channel 3 and Channel 6 and Channel 17. So it's kind of it's just the way it is. Unless it's like a pay to play type deal, which wasn't in news years ago when I started, but now a lot of things you see on TV are pay to play, and that more or less is advertising and it's scheduled. List building. So lists are very important. Like I said, I use something called Meltwater, but you can use Google Sheets or Excel, and take your time building a list. You can have a list with feature reporters, tech reporters, whatever your vertical may be, and just start building it and get their emails. And reach out to them with your stories. I would never do like a group like Outlook blast. I see that still today where people just BCC everyone. You don't want to do that. You want to do personal one-on-one emails to show that you care, that you're invested in them, to again try to build the relationship. You don't just want to do a BCC blast. That never works. So, create that Google Sheets list or Excel list and build the list, whatever your business is, whether it's something with food, then you want to hit the food reporters. If it's something in real estate, you want to hit the real estate reporters or trades. So you can do that again from Google with your computer. Again, persistence, but being, professional is the key to being successful in PR. And get personal. So to craft your story, like I had said, I learned from doing and being a reporter, but anything that's personal and is told through someone else's eyes is the best way to generate a news story or pitch. So if you are let's think, a stem cell company, then your best case scenario is not having the CEO of that stem cell company. Your best case scenario is that person that couldn't walk and that used your stem cells and therefore now can walk. That's a successful story. So that's how you want to share the message. And then you can always, like for my job, I can always get the CEO press on the back end, but it's still basically promoting him by promoting his company and one of his clients. So it's not always about getting the top level person. Just like when I was a reporter and there was a fire, they would say, don't get the fire chief, get those displaced. So I'd have to go up to the families that are crying. And while that's hard, that is the story. That's the emotion. That's what tugs on people's heartstrings. And then get the fire chief as the last soundbite, because basically he's just telling you how many fire alarms it was. Is everything destroyed? Are people safe? So that's something you can kind of put later, but you want to engage people by showing those who were affected. If you're writing an article, use emotion for quotes, sound bites to grab the attention of the news source, reading your press release or media alert. So they want something that grabs the attention and they like things that affect the masses. So think of how it can help the masses. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with the Labubu craze. I mean, that's globally a phenomenon, and it's just these little plushies that are like the Beanie Babies of the 80s. But, people were fighting over them in local malls at these vending machines. So it's like that is something that is affecting the masses, as funny as it sounds, but they like things like that. So you want to keep that in mind. Um, this is what I talked to you about before, adding a charity component. So if you've like a really kind of boring tech company, or even marketing company, because it's hard to promote marketing when you're, a service building, helping many types of companies. Adding a charity angle, giving back is always effective if you're helping others and donating for a good cause. Like I said, all my clients that have an event or grand opening, I always push them to include giving a portion of proceeds to charity, or sometimes it can be 100%. Most of the time, it's just a portion of proceeds and to a charity that's near and dear to their heart, or just one that's very relevant at the time. So giving back is a huge component in telling stories and creates great PR. This goes back to what I told you before, the press likes controversy. If a story is linked to controversy, is unique or amusing, you almost get the coverage that you always want. Amusing would be like an ostrich crossing the street, like a major highway. I've seen that before. Or when I was an anchor, an Amish buggy hit a car and then took off on his horse and left the buggy behind. So it was like a hit and run of a different kind. So they like things that are unique, amusing, and then controversial. I think you know that. It could be things with disease. It could be, for example, mosquitoes are, killing millions of people globally. The West Nile virus just isn't in Africa, it's also in America, like things like that. They like those type of stories that are different. They like stats, they like numbers, they like facts. And then when you're done, if you are successful in getting placements for yourself or your brand, share the story to all of your social media channels, because that is just another set of eyeballs. There's so many people, more and more people, even my friends that used to be in TV news, they're barely watching TV anymore, but they're seeing it on social media. So it's another set of eyes. Strategize. Another way, if you're comfortable, is creating a video for yourself. I do a podcast for myself, but it's another way to share what you do virally and escalate your message and give yourself a huge brand boost. Again, even if you're not comfortable, I would say you do it, because if it's content and it's content where you're giving valuable advice, people will listen. And it doesn't matter, honestly, probably the way you look or anything, because as long as you're giving effective content and being yourself and genuine, and letting people know something they didn't know before, your content will take off. If it's not working, you're not getting the followers you want, you're not getting the press you want, and that sometimes happens to me even with clients, then I have to re-strategize and write a different press release and another PR plan and another alert. So sometimes you just have to sit back, think about it, re-strategize, and then go again. And then don't give up, because you're going to get a lot more no's than yeses. But when you get the yeses, it's worth it. This is old clients. These are some, but I have many exciting clients over the years. Hunt Auctions brought me to many Super Bowls and Major League Baseball All-Star Weeks. Post Brothers does a lot of real estate development in Philadelphia. SoFi did student loans. That's where they kind of made their name. It's a financial firm, but I've literally done everything by now. Now I have a cool football helmet cover company that Ron Jaworski's affiliated with. I'm doing something with Shaq's brand that opens next year. So I have a lot of cool things. But then I also have, like I said, some more like calmer clients that are like wealth managers, financial advisors, legal firms. But again, like the law firms listening to me, we're doing events. So there's always a way to get your brand known indirectly and also directly. Thank you so much, and I hope to use the rest of the time to answer your questions and help build whatever company you have. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can hopefully see all your questions. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. All right, so someone said, what would you suggest for nonprofit organizations? Oh my gosh, I mean, I've worked for so many events. I mean, events are everything. So it's all about events. It's galas, it's golf outings, it's bowling events. I mean, it could just be something you host for a fun Eagles game, but as long as you're giving back. I mean, I think I would need to know what else you're asking about, but events, it's all about events, and it's about who the nonprofit is helping. If it's a kids event, you want kids there. You want them to speak. You want, again, those affected to speak and get the word out on what's happening. So, I mean, I hope that helps you, but you can ask more questions and then I can try to help you. Someone else asked, how do you do PR for your own business? I'm a pro with helping nonprofits promote themselves on social media and PR, but really struggling to promote my own business. Yeah, no, to be honest, I'm the same. So I'm always like 24/7, but I work hard. Like I work more on my clients than me. For me, I do that podcast for branding. I don't get paid for it. It's called Live Without a Net, for entrepreneurs like you all that don't have a security net. So I'm the same, just like you. So I do that. I love that. I've never tried to get sponsors, maybe one day, but you all may be a fit for that. So, I'd love to have you on and hear what you do. I post a lot on social media, but honestly, I could do better. Like I have a list on my desk for like 2 weeks now. Like I want to post these 5 videos on TikTok. I'm bad at TikTok, but a lot of my clients are really good at it. And then I have, I want to put this legal firm up and I want to put these Jersey Man event pictures. So I'm just as bad too, but I just really try to tackle it when I have time. Um, so I would say definitely use social media, even if you don't want to post, because that's what everyone's staring at these days. And then maybe consider a podcast or getting on podcasts for yourself. And then, also like I get to go to meet these reporters when I'm setting up these interviews. If you set up any interviews for yourself or um, even your nonprofits, if you go, you can create that relationship and then just keep following up for them for what you do. I have to, again, understand more, but I would say, there's also this site, like my business lawyer is good at it, called Quoted, Quoted. And there's another one, and I get their emails all the time on what they're searching for. That's probably the best way. I don't have time. I wish I did. I mean, sometimes I'll look if they're looking for a PR firm, but you can put in what you do, and it's this site that filters out to all media, and then they send notifications to your inbox, and it'll tell you like, I'm looking for a financial person, or I'm looking for a PR person. Everything you can imagine. It'll give you a deadline on what to reply to. This is all free, by the way. The only way it costs you, and I've never paid for it, is if you want to like reply to more than, I think, like 5 inquiries a month, something like that. But that's probably the best way because my business lawyer does that all the time and he's always putting himself on LinkedIn and he's doing it himself. So that's probably the best way besides like what I'm doing with branding and social media. If I had more time, I would pitch myself all the time, but obviously I focus on my paying clients. But check out Quoted. There's also Harrow, help a reporter out, but that became something else. I get their emails too. I forget what it turned into, but if you Google Harrow, it should tell you. That's probably the best advice, so check that out. Um, what would you suggest for a cookie and ice cream subscription company? Oh, that's fun. I mean, definitely influencers. I'm sure you already know this. And because you probably don't have a big budget yet, I would create lists of, like, I have tons of lists of influencers. So I would create lists of influencers that you would like to present your brand and see if at first that you can just DM them. Like we've done this where we just DM them and, tell them we want to send them like a PR box. So you could say that. A lot of them will give you their address and I just track the address um, and ship them. I mean, I know that doesn't sound fun, but if you're just trying to start without a big budget, I would definitely do that. I would do your own content, your own videos, YouTube, um, pitch your brand at events so they're eating your cookie and ice cream. We can even talk for some of my upcoming events, but I would try to cross promote with as many brands and nonprofits as possible to have your cookie and ice cream featured there. I know it's going to take time and effort, but it's worth it because more and more people find out about it. They want it. They can sign up at the events. I would think of it like that. And then obviously, I don't know your business plan. I don't know if eventually you're hoping to be in stores as well or just e-commerce only. I'd have to know more, but I think you should just cross promote with as many charities, as many events as possible and hopefully your brand will grow. And then from the PR standpoint, I'm sure there's like National Ice Cream Day. Like I would try to get you featured on different TV stations, both local and national. I don't know if you're just in Philadelphia or other cities, but I would hopefully that helps. But definitely get your brand out there and then take pictures of any influencers or like TV people that eat it. Um, Also there's food, like my friend is like a morning, like the Fox Food morning reporter in DC. So you have to think of like the food reporters. What would the best way to reach hold engagement events for community members as a real estate development company? Um, I love real estate development. That's like one of my favorite verticals. I've worked with a lot of malls and luxury apartment buildings, and um, that's really fun for me. So for community members, I guess I'm trying to think like there's this 55 and above community. It's called the Plaza Grand. I think it's Plaza Grande at Garden State. It used to be a racetrack. So we did this whole event where we brought a jockey in that used to race at the racetrack. And then we got all the community members out and provided food and drink and that sort of thing. You're probably doing something like that, but I would keep doing it like Wednesday happy hours. I hope that there is a budget for it. If there's not a budget for it, and there's been times where I don't have a budget, I reach out to different wine companies I have relationships with and I ask them to sponsor it. And I just did that for an event I had in February, but over my career, I've done it many, many times, and they'll give you cases of wine and let them know on the back end at the minimum, you can put up their signage. You can have wine tastings where the members can also have opportunities to buy wine. That's what I did. So there's ways about it if you don't have the money, but I would also do like things like, and you might already, pickleball, bocce ball. I keep hearing about both of them recently. And then, I mean, you got to think outside the box. You could even do like a Labubu giveaway. And if you don't know what that is, Google it, because even the casinos are doing it now because it became such a hot item. Um, you can have different chefs come in and teach you how to cook or what wine to put with this food, for example. You can literally have so much fun with it, but you have to think in ways. I've done so much for different companies. I mean, there's Halloween events you can have. You could do like by the fire pits if you have that to roast s'mores. We've done things like that at different like luxury apartment complexes. I have to know what your amenities are, but there's so many different ways that you can work the angle. I would just make sure it's reoccurring so people are excited. And you can try it for like a month. Every Wednesday, this is happening. And if it's not working, then change gears. But that's the best way to try. Um, and Marta, sure, email me after this about the podcast. And then another person, how can you get more eyes on it? I have magnets that I'm selling $6 each, and three per magnet will get donated to the organization. The nonprofit is popular and I tag them in it, but I've only sold one magnet, even though I've made them over 2 months ago. Um, hmm, I need to know more about the magnets. But so what I did for one client, this is like the PR in me, is I knew the publicist for Kevin O'Leary, so I I reached out to her and sent this plushie. It was basically customized Labubus, and then the woman's brand was a bear. And I got him to promote it on his social, which gave her like thousands of dollars. I mean, sorry, thousands of followers, and then yeah, thousands of dollars in sales. But I guess what I'm saying is like I always have to think outside of the box, and it's hard, right? I got really lucky with that one and him promoting it without even being one of his like Shark Tank clients or brands. Um, I have to know more about your magnets, but I would say you would have to, again, like do things outside the box, have influencers hold it, cross promote as much as you can, do social media. I mean, I hope there's something really exciting about the magnet. And then if there is any budget, I would do some like Facebook ads. I just don't know. I need to know more about the magnets, so send them to me and then I can help you. Um, how would you market to the senior community that may be as tech savvy? Are they though? Some are, not all. Um, why don't you have events like about crypto or events on like fintech and AI? How about AI? That's everywhere these days. So, you know, if they are familiar with tech, then they should love to learn more about AI. I met someone last week that he's colorblind, and the only way he knows if he's dressed appropriately is by taking pictures of himself each morning and uploading it on ChatGPT. Then it tells him what to, you know, if he looks, if he's matching. I feel like you needed, if they are tech savvy, I would like interest them on AI because that's changing so fast every day. Maybe some crypto, maybe like have an economist in. I've seen that before where it talks like about the housing market and how there's, it's just interesting stuff, like how there's no inventory in New Jersey. Like the only states that have inventory are Florida and Texas. And he engaged the audience and, you know, people were able to like guess what they thought. I think I would think about things like that. But think about AI. I feel like that's something they're going to be blown away. Even my dad's 84. He's like, are you using this? And but he's still a little confused. But it's cool. Like I told him, Dad, you can do pitch decks nowadays with it. So, and we've done one for our client that way. So it's pretty cool. And then Rita asked, where is the link to that? Is that for Kevin O'Leary? It is on my social media, but I can email me and I have a whole album in my phone. I can send you it, but it is on my Instagram and I'll show you what it is. Um, Someone said, "Ooh, I do medium work." I've always wanted to go to a medium. Reaching out to those who have passed over, I have no idea who to reach out to. Um, my God, that's like I could go so many ways with that. I'd have to see where you're based, but I would join like the Nextdoor app. If you guys haven't heard of it, it's I have one here in New Jersey, but I used to use it in Philly, and it basically like neighbors reach out to each other all the time if you're looking for a handyman or need to drive to the airport or starting a new business. So I would start with that to see who your audience is, who's interested. So the Nextdoor app, then join different Facebook groups and post on different mommy blogger pages, different Facebook. Like you would just have to spend time in front of your computer saying what you do, telling your most powerful stories, like what you saw, who you talked to. If you talk to someone's loved one, like their mother or father who passed, your success stories, I'm sure, and I watch those shows all the time. Not all the time, sorry. Sometimes, like the Long Island Medium and some of the others. And it's always like, think about what they're doing. They're using their success stories of what worked to make people at home cry and believe in her. And then she's selling out seats at Parks Casino. So it's like, think of it in that way. So when you're writing in the Nextdoor app and the Facebook groups and all these like free ways for you to reach out to, be like, this is kind of the results I've had. If any of those clients that you've helped could do a video for you that you could post, that would be very impactful for you. But this will help build your audience. And then Google, like, this is the perfect time. Google Halloween events. See if you can come and be a medium there and just try. I don't know how much time you have, but I would do that. And then in terms of PR, when you like book yourself at events, then I would reach out to certain reporters and news desks and be like, hey, I'm going to be here. It's Halloween. People think of ghosts and that sort of thing. But I talk to friendly ghosts. I just made that up. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things you could do with that. So try to have fun with it. I know it's stressful. Um, and then Rita said they're handmade ceramic magnets with an imprint of a cat and the word meow. Oh, that's cute. Oh my gosh, there's so many like cat lady things and fun things you could do with that. You could have Taylor Swift do something. You just got to get it in her hands. But I think that I mean, I would just like have a field day with that and try to have fun with it. But again, I know it's time and all of that. But if you don't have fun, it's literally all about marketing and getting the word out to the masses. I don't know how many email subscribers Project Meow has, but I, again, don't know what Project Meow does. If it only helps cats or other animals, I would link up to as many other nonprofits who help animals or cats as well and think about their email lists. Like they might have 22,000 here, 15,000 there, and then say, hey, I will include you in Project Meow's email subscription list. Can you include me in yours? Sorry, that's my dog. Um, but I would definitely do that. Like you have to think big, how you can reach people. Promoting a hair salon. I've definitely done that a few times. So there's a lot of ways, and I've done it many times. Last year I got some segments again for Halloween, doing Halloween makeup and hair. So it was a hair salon, but we brought a makeup artist in too. So it's like how to do these like I can find the pitch for you, like how to do all these cool creations and like what are the hot Halloween trends this year and how you can look like them, and then pitch it to like different TV stations. And I've gotten many segments that way. And if you don't want to do Halloween, then like Super Bowl, the Eagles are like kicking ass. I've gotten a lot of segments by being like, this is how you can do like Eagles hair. And I'm one of those people that, like dress up for all the Eagles games and stuff. So like I love that stuff. But you need to think of it like that. Like we are Super Bowl champs. Like we like all these girls, like Fox last week had all these Eagles merchandise people on. So you have to think outside the box. The Phillies, it's probably going to be another red October and we're in the playoffs. So like have fun with it. Like you have to think of, different hair trends. You always have to think outside the box. And it's not easy, but it's doable because they are looking for, people who do that. Or maybe there's some type of, I don't have extensions, but like a lot of my friends do. Maybe there's like some cool new hair extension out there that's easier to manage than others. Like I have to again know more. And also you might have a med spa, so I need to know more about that. But there's so many different things you can do. Um, Rita, the strong magnets, I could use some on my fridge. How do you find a list of influencers? I built them over time. I've also used interns to help me, so you guys could get interns, but there are lists you can buy, but I wouldn't do that. You don't have to do that. You just have to do your own research and who you like and list them, then their handle, and then their email. If you don't have time to do it, I would try to get interns, but you could do like a little bit each day. Um, but there's a lot of sites that like I'll get in my inbox, oh, you can buy this, or you have access to all these influencers. You could do that and pay, but you don't really need to. I think the best way is you building your own list and targeting them and just starting a relationship, following them, see what they do, see if they're interested in your products or events. Um, Oh, Beverly said she meant not tech savvy. Oh, okay. Well, then bring in someone who can teach them how to use their phone. I say that, but my mom doesn't know how to use her phone. I mean, I would like start the basic ways. They probably appreciate it so much. Like teach them how to go to their photo album, how to create voice memos, how where their camera roll is, how you can share to social media. You could have so much fun. I would start with like the basics, and I bet you they'd be so appreciative because they're probably like calling their granddaughter asking how to do certain things, you know? So I would try to like show them demos because I feel like showing is everything these days, especially in person, which is rare. Everyone's on Zoom. So try to get someone in person as long as, you know, everyone's healthy. Um, any tips on working with influencers? I'm usually not sure if they'll want a bunch of free products and have high fees. I know. So it depends. Some will take, because I've done this, some will take the free products if they like it. And then some will tell you that they have a cost, but then just rule them out because you don't have time for that right now until you have more money. You tell them you'll keep them in mind in the future. Um, I would just be open, like right off the spot, be like, would you be interested in, like, for example, when I had Dry Bar, I would say, would you be interested in coming in for a blowout? Some will take it, some won't. Um, Sending products is the same way. Some will take it, some won't, and they'll give you their address if they're interested. But I mean, it's kind of like that's the only way you can do it and see who will align with your product and brand, and maybe they can tell their friends about it and tag their friends. So yeah, I would just skip over the ones with high fees and try to entice them with what you do have. That's really all you can do. Um, and obviously, like when I've done like restaurant club openings, that sort of thing, that appeals to them because they want to be there on a VIP list. But other times it's like they don't want that, they don't care, you know, for this product or that. But it's kind of like a test. You just have to, you know, see who will take it and align with your brand and who won't. Um, I run a writing and editing support business for people who work for social justice who are writing a book, an article, grant proposal. I hold online co-working groups and writing retreats. Any ideas for getting my business out there? Noted. Um, so many people need that. Like grant proposals, I can think of a million people, and not everyone's good at it. I would say most people aren't good at it. So I feel like you have an easy way. Um, Again, nonprofits, like you should let them know you can do that. Um, Success stories anywhere, like if you got someone a 60,000 grant through one of your writings, make sure you're sharing that on social media and telling people. And then I would join again, like all the different nonprofits, let them know what you've done. So many nonprofits struggle with that. So many businesses struggle with that. Um, I mean, I would let them know, you know, loopholes, like ways to do it that other people don't know. That would help and let people know like you're good at what you do. You've done the research, you know what it works. You know what works. I would do that because like the co-working groups and writing retreats are great, but if it's not to the right people, it's probably not going to blow up your brand fast enough. Obviously, I think of like WBE. Do you know that? Are you a member? I'm bad at doing any of their events, but I know people who do and are very successful at it. See if you can join that in Philadelphia or wherever you're located. Like it's the WBENC in Philadelphia. It's like the Women Business Enterprise. But I like they have events all the time. You need to be like in front of those audiences or this audience, like the Temple SBDC, see if they'll let you get the word out. And you need to join networking groups and you need to let everyone know what you do, honestly. And your success stories are going to be the best way. And then you can have the writing retreats and co-working groups later, but like right now you need to focus on money and getting your name known. Um, Tropical skincare. Is that topical? Because I don't know what tropical skincare is. Topical. Again, influencers, like you want them to put it on their skin and say how great it is and what's working. You want to use TikTok. You want to use Instagram demos, having live demos, link up at, I don't know where your product is based or how you're selling, but link up at different beauty events, salons, etc. And maybe they'll end up buying it and putting your skincare in their salon or spa, or I see skincare massage envy like various places now. Someone said, I'm teaching, I'm a teaching artist focused on sharing visual art experiences with seniors. The target audience I want to reach is activity professionals who work with seniors at assisted living and skilled care facilities. I'm putting lessons and classroom tips from my 10-year experience into a book and would like to have an online membership to share lessons and step-by-step videos so the activity staff unfamiliar with making art can become comfortable being the teacher, saving the cost of hiring for someone to come in. Our projects are designed for lifelong learner adults. Art made simpler, not simple. Yeah, like I know what you mean because I bought PR from home.com in COVID and I still not done anything with it. I still want to. So it's basically like the same thing that you want to do. Um, so I'm trying to think. Um, have you started the website or anything yet? Or the back end, like e-commerce on how you're going, how people can subscribe to get the videos. I'm curious about all of that because that's all stuff I was looking into for me. I didn't do it yet, but I did enough research, to help you because I want to do it. I just want to do it when I have time. But I literally like again, it comes down to marketing and getting the brand out there. Because if I were to have PR from home.com and put up my videos and share it to people, they're only gonna know by me letting people know. So it's like I did also buy getyouontvnow.com and then I was gonna link it up to that and kind of draw people in. Um, I've never done advertising, but like basically do advertising for that to draw people in. Again, I don't know if you have any sort of budget, but I think if you had, say, like $15,000, that'd be enough to get started. And I would, I would probably do some advertising for leads. Um, and again, if you don't have that, which is totally understandable, I would try to spread the word to as many seniors at assisted living centers as possible. Like I would email all of them. If that's not working, if you have time, I would go in and let them know what you do. So, and that you're going to have these videos that, they can enjoy from their room. That's, also probably making them feel good about themselves. And that's really what it's about. It's something relaxing for them that makes them feel good, that they could literally like, you know, have in their room wherever they're staying. I feel like there's so many beautiful things that you could do with that. There's one artist I worked with last year and I told her to do videos and it did help her Instagram. Like I think you should start doing those videos on your social media and then let people know you have something coming soon and helping people do that at home. But in the meantime, for people to know about you, you need to let every senior citizen like home know about you. There's so many everywhere. And I would try to target ones that are almost like a franchise that have a lot so you can kind of do outreach on a bigger level quicker. Um, and then I've been trying to get on Fox 29 Good Morning Show as an expert in relationships. It's just a matter of sending the producer my info over and over. I think they tend to go with people. Um, I do the same thing. They don't always go with people they know, but if they like people they know, they will bring them back because it's easier for them. Um, it's not difficult. Like you need to do things around Valentine's Day or have an event coming up that they're interested in, like I'm doing now. You can think about, I mean, there's so many different ways, like cuffing season now that summer's over. Um, I'd have to know what kind of advice you give in relationships, if it's more like, serious, like a serious therapy session, or it's more fun. I think that would help me kind of help you. But it's just persistence and getting them at the right time. And it's honestly, they know me. They all know me over there, but it's the same for me. So, sometimes they'll remember me, like, you helped us with that Halloween segment with that makeup artist. Are they available again? Like sometimes they will come back to the source, but not always. Um, Someone said oh, Julie, I was going to do lessons as a course through Square to start out. I'm presenting at a conference for activity professionals in PA in October. Yeah, so building up a list is good. Like I've started building an email list like back in 2009, 2010 at all my events. So like having people sign in definitely helps. And then definitely have some type of email subscription on your website. I'm sure you can do that on Square. Um, I don't know. Are you charging for the sessions I assume you are because you can pay through that way. I think it's all a test, but if it's not working, then you have to reassess and move to the next and not spend so much time on it. That's really like if it's you'll know right away. I think you'll know after that event whether it's working and whether you have to change gears. But in the meantime, think about what I said. Like I don't know all the names of these living centers, but I would target the ones that have, multiple and try to get a relationship there. Ask someone for lunch. Like don't be afraid. Um, and then Beverly, I have some contacts in the senior community that I can possibly provide to the artist who wants to market to senior communities. That's a great idea. Can you guys connect with each other or is it just me? I hope that you guys can connect to each other. So it's Beverly, Sporn, and Julie Mater, or if you guys can look each other up. Um, okay, Terry, serious and communication. Yeah, I mean, I listen to all those podcasts, like there's so many these days. I would write something on like how communication is key and how you can communicate through everything. Um, and maybe look up stats on how most couples don't communicate, something like that. They like stats. And then anonymous, they want to know if they can watch this webinar over. I believe so. I think the Temple SBDC team sent me that they're going to send my deck, my pitch deck, and this for everyone to review, and then my contact information. I don't know if it shares all of your contact information. I hope it does. I feel like they would probably do that, but if not, I can find out. Um,
Yeah, it will be done automatically within the next 2 days.
okay. Can everyone hear that? I assume everyone heard that. Okay, so yeah, you guys will definitely be able to get it in the next couple days. Um, Someone did write, my friend and I are starting a nonprofit helping youths to learn the construction trade. Where should we start? Oh, that's fun. Um, I would start because I know in the past year, they definitely talked about how less people are going to college and getting educated and more people should be in the trades. And there is so much money in the trades that like people don't seem to know. I would start with that, like why it's important, why, maybe even something like with AI, all these jobs are going away, but like in construction, like that's, although I don't know if that's true. I think I've seen robots build things, but that's probably so in the future. I would just say, something like that's, not the case in the trades. Like they're always going to need people no matter what. But I think I would start with for youths, because I feel like if I think about the way I grew up, it's not like they're teaching me to be in a construction trade. They're telling me to go to college and all these other things. So it's like I think it's so interesting because I think that I would love to have learned that when I was younger, just like I think I would have loved to have learned financial tips, that they also aren't good at teaching our youth. But there's so many construction trades, because I have a list, because I've had clients like that. There's so many out there. I mean, I don't mind sharing them with you. After you get this together, I would let all these trades know what you're doing, from the PR standpoint, because it's different. And then I would also maybe reach out to different construction companies and see if you could go in and and I don't know, hold some type of an event there to help raise money for your nonprofit because you're giving back essentially. Like there's so many things you could do with that. But I do know you should look up the stats. Like trades are growing and I feel like education's down. I know I've seen it somewhere, or at least that's the trend that they're saying. I don't know if it's going to happen, but like people shouldn't knock trades. Trying to think if there's anything else. Is there any other? Yeah, of course. I don't mind when you guys email me. I don't mind helping. I like that idea though. You guys all have great ideas. It's hard, right? But it's like you can't give up. To keep trying, even for me, you know? It's the same. And it changes, like AI, podcasts, social media, like it's always changing. You already have a nonprofit and oh, very cool. Yeah, have you gotten the word out about it yet? Think about the construction trades. There's so many. The people that read them to help your nonprofit. Okay, yeah, let me know how I can help you. I love that idea though. And I'll try to look for that step myself. Does anyone else have any questions? Talented hands. Okay, I'll look at it after this when we hang up. I like that name too. That's great. You could even say like talented hands. Despite AI, talented hands aren't going to go away. And why it's important for the youth. That's the main reason. I think that's it for now.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining
Of
us
course,
today.
it's fun.
And thank you, Jennifer, for such a terrific presentation. And
Of
I
course.
think we can all see, I've posted a survey for today's presentation in the chat box. We encourage each and everyone to complete the survey. We value your feedback, and so we'll require you to complete the survey. And also, our founders um, would like us to continue providing non-cost webinars, and it's these feedbacks that are going to guide how the future webinars go on. Like I said, a follow-up email will automatically be sent to all the attendees within the next 2 business days with today's material and then with the presentation. Have a nice day, and this is the end of the webinar. Thank you all for joining
Thank you.
once again. I think, yeah.
Thanks, John. Okay. Bye, guys. Hope to hear from you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.